Hey, when it comes to your finances, does it feel like you're trapped in a bottomless pit? And the more you climb, actually the deeper you go? Well, here's the brutal truth. You're not broke because you don't work hard enough or because you're unlucky. You're broke because you believe lies. See, you think that you believe things because they're true. But actually, the fact is you think they're true because you believe them. And most people spend their entire lives trapped by 6 specific lies that are a guarantee for their poverty. Here they are. Lie number 1, time is money. Time is money. This is the most destructive financial myth that has ever been created. Because if you believe time equals money, you're gonna make terrible decisions with both of them. See, here's what happens. You'll end up driving 15 miles to save 2 cents per gallon on gas, burning an hour and gas money to save $3. You'll spend 3 hours wandering around a store like Walmart to save 30 cents on something that's probably lower quality anyway. See, you're wasting your most valuable resource, time, to save your least valuable resource, small amounts of money. But I'm telling you, time is not money, okay? Here's absolute proof of this. What if I were to say, I'll write you $1 million check right now that will clear the bank, but the catch is you have to die tomorrow in order to get it? Who wants that deal? Nobody, right? Why? Because you already know intuitively that time is worth infinitely more than money. But flip that around and let's say you're going to die from a disease tomorrow that kills 100% of people unless you get an antidote. And the antidote costs, you guessed it, $1 million, which is, let's say, every penny you have. Well, you're gonna spend all of it instantly, even if you might get hit by a bus tomorrow, right? Why? Because you'd rather gamble on having more time than keep the money. So you'll spend all your money to buy time, but you won't spend all your time to get money. That proves that time is infinitely more valuable. So here's the mindset shift. Instead of wasting time to save money, spend money to buy back time. That's why some people will, pay somebody to mow their lawn and clean their pool to get back 10 hours per month or 120 hours per year to spend with their family. See, the most valuable thing you can ever buy with money is the rest of your life. Here's lie number 2. 8 hours work for 8 hours pay. 8 hours work for 8 hours pay. This keeps you broke because you handcuff your income to time. Think about this logically. Time is limited, right? You only have 24 hours in every single day. And so if you want unlimited income, why would you tie your earning potential to something that's fundamentally limited? Here's what happens when you sell time. If you make $25 per hour, the maximum you can ever earn working every single hour of the year is $219,000. But you can't work every hour, right? You need sleep and food and family time. So realistically, you're capped at maybe $50,000 to $80,000 per year. You've put a ceiling on your income potential. But what if you sold results instead of time? What if someone paid you, let's say, $10,000 to solve a problem that saves their business $100,000? And maybe it takes you 5 hours for the solution, maybe 50 hours. Like, they don't care because they got $100,000 in value. Well, now your income isn't tied to hours anymore. It's tied to the value you create. But the problem is we've been programmed from birth to be dependent, right? Parents take care of us, schools teach us to get good jobs where somebody else pays us hourly, and we never learn to believe that we can actually create results ourselves. When someone offers to pay you for results instead of time, you start getting scared because you've been trained not to trust your own abilities. But when you make this mindset shift from selling time to selling results, your income potential becomes unlimited. All right, lie number 3. You need a degree to be successful. Well, maybe this was true like 70 years ago during the industrial age when companies paid workers to get management degrees so that then they could go and run their factories. And maybe it's true in a few niche areas of our world today where you need a degree for a rite of passage. But the fact is, today's world has changed. Colleges today have a different mission. Like they're just trying to confuse kids about basic biology and convince them that God doesn't exist and undo everything that you've taught them at home as parents. And so they'll end up graduating with like $100,000 in debt and a head full of ideas that really make them unemployable in the real world. Here's what you actually need to build wealth. You need a high value mindset, a high value skill set, and a basic tool set. That's it. The mindset means thinking like someone who creates value instead of somebody who just follows orders. And the skill set means learning something that people will pay well for. Sales, marketing, problem solving, leadership. And the tool set means having the basic equipment that you need to deliver your skill, like a computer, a phone, or whatever tools your particular skill requires. Here's the irony. Some of the most educated people that I know are the hardest to teach really anything to, but particularly to teach about money. Why is that? Because school punishes you for being wrong. You lose points for mistakes, but in the real world, in real business, you learn by making mistakes. Isn't that right? Mistakes teach you what works and what doesn't. And if you're afraid to make mistakes all the time, then the fact is you're afraid to try new things. And if you're afraid to try new things, you're going to be afraid to grow. See, school creates people who are terrified of the very thing that creates wealth: intelligent risk-taking and learning from failure. And here's lie number 4. A penny saved is a penny earned. A penny saved equals a penny earned. I mean, this is just total backwards thinking that keeps people poor. A penny saved is actually a penny depreciated, right? Here's why. Inflation makes your money worth less every single year. Even at just 2% inflation, every dollar you have today will only be worth 98 cents next year. So when you save money, you're actually watching it lose value. You're storing something that becomes worthless over time. See, rich people, they don't save money, they invest money. And when you invest a penny correctly, it does increase in value. It becomes 6 pennies, right? When you invest $100, it might become $600 or even $1,000. Time makes money more valuable, but only if it's invested, not if it's just like sitting there losing value to inflation. Here's another way to think about it. People think the quality of their life comes from how many years of experience they have. But here's the reality. The quality of your life comes from how many experiences you pack into those years. So think about it, like if you take 1 vacation per year for 20 years, then you're going to get 20 vacations. But if you become really successful enough to take, let's say, 5 vacations per year, then you're going to get 100 years worth of vacation experiences in just 20 years. See, money buys you more experiences in the same amount of time. It makes your time more valuable. But that only works if your money is growing through investment, not shrinking through saving. Lie number 5, all rich people are greedy. Rich people are greedy. Now this lie is the one that keeps people poor because it makes them afraid to actually build wealth. Why? Because if you think that having money is going to turn you into a bad person, then you're going to have that back in the back of your mind, subconsciously all the time, and you're going to sabotage yourself anytime you start making progress with your money. But here's the truth. I've met really greedy rich people, but I've also met really greedy poor people, haven't you? I mean, greed has nothing to do with how much money you have. Greed has to do with your character on the inside. In fact, actually, the most generous people I know right now at this moment are some of the most wealthy people I know, because they can actually afford to be generous. When somebody's struggling to pay their rent and their bills, like they're going to also struggle to write a check to help other people. But when somebody has abundance, they're in a position now to actually make a difference in other people's lives. Think about it this way. Some people say that wanting more than enough to be comfortable is a form of greed, but I think wanting enough to be comfortable is selfish. I would like to have enough money to make other people comfortable, not just myself. I'd like to be able to feed some orphans in the world and support some widows and help my church family and my own family members when they're in crisis. See, when somebody that I love and care about goes through an emergency, I don't want to be in a position where all I can say is, well, I'm sorry about that, and I'll pray for you. I mean, I am going to pray for them, but I want to actually help them as well. Why do we feel guilty about financial abundance, but we don't feel guilty about wanting abundant health or abundant knowledge or abundant experiences? I'm just saying, why should money be any different? I think money is just a tool that lets you help more people and have more impact. But the guilt about wanting wealth is often the thing that keeps people trapped in poverty, which helps nobody. All right, line number 6, life is hard and things are expensive. Life, hard. Things, expensive. All right, here's a fundamental law that you need to understand. Everything has two sides. So if life can be hard, it can also be easy, okay? If things can be expensive, they can also be affordable. You've just been programmed to see only one side of that equation. And that's why you focus on what's missing instead of what's available. That was literally the very first temptation in human history. I don't know if you've ever thought about that before. But Satan got Adam and Eve to focus on the one tree that they could not eat from instead of all the other trees that they could eat from freely. When you focus on lack, you're going to miss abundance. Now, about things that are expensive, everything actually, if you think about it, costs the same amount, but poor people can't see that because of how they think about money. Here's what I mean by that. You're like, really? I mean, everything doesn't cost the same. Well, when you're broke and you're trading time for money at $25 per hour, a $50 dinner is going to feel really expensive because it costs you 2 hours of your life. A $50,000 car is going to feel impossible because it would cost you literally 2,000 hours of work. But when you develop high value skills and you can charge premium prices for your results, your effective hourly rate has skyrocketed, right? Instead of $25 per hour, maybe you can create $500 or $5,000 worth of value per hour of focused work. Now that same $50 dinner costs you 6 minutes of work instead of 2 hours. The $50,000 car costs you 10 hours of valuable work instead of 2,000 hours of low value work. You see? And everything ends up costing the same in terms of how little of your valuable time you need to exchange for it. The water bottle on your desk and the building you're standing in both require very little of your time because your time is valuable enough. Poor people think that things are expensive because they haven't made their time valuable enough yet. But when you increase the value of your time, everything becomes affordable. So the truth is simple. Stop believing these lies. Time is infinitely more valuable than money. So buy it back instead of wasting it. Sell results, not hours. Consider skipping college debt and develop real skills that create value. Invest money instead of saving it. Wealth isn't evil, it's a tool for good, and everything becomes affordable when you make your time valuable enough. And look, if you're working a job right now that makes you feel trapped by any or all of these lies, I totally get it. Most of us are gonna have to work for a while we're building something better, and that's okay. And that's actually why I have also created a 30-day work as worship devotional guide. It'll help you see your current job through a biblical lens and find real purpose and satisfaction in whatever you're doing right now while you position yourself to make the most of every single day and build towards something greater tomorrow. I'm gonna drop the link for that in the comments below. But let me leave you with this. Change what you believe and you'll change what you achieve. And most of the time, that will end up changing what you receive.